Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the little pink purse. Now this written pattern has been around for a while, but we have made a video so you can follow along and learn how to make the purse. This is a fun purse that I originally designed for a child, but as we move along throughout the tutorial, I'll show you how to customize it if you want to make a larger purse for an adult or an older child. So basically this is 2 granny squares sandwiched together. So it is reversible. You can kind of flip it over if you want to wear it a certain way. And then we've added a pretty little edge and a lovely strap. And when we get to the strap part, I'll show you if you want to just make like a little handbag as well. The finished purse measures about 5.5 inches wide, 5.5 inches tall. Our strap is about 1 inch wide. And then again, if you want to customize this, you can make this strap however long you like. This particular one here is 40 inches long, so it's for a smaller little person. But you can make this part bigger and the strap longer or shorter depending on your preference, and we'll go into that in a little bit more detail later on in the video. So let's get started. For this project, you'll need a pair of scissors, a 5mm H crochet hook, a tapestry needle, and your yarn. I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver. Now you can use any worsted weight yarn you like. The colors I have here are called Shocking Pink, Perfect Pink, and White. And you can use any combination of colors you like, or you can stick to just one color. It's totally up to you. But any worsted weight yarn would be great for this project. Okay, so our purse is basically 2 granny squares sandwiched together and then seamed around the sides and the bottom, and then we'll be adding a strap. We're going to make one of the granny squares together, and then I'll show you how to construct it and add the strap later on. Okay, so let's get started with our granny square. I'm going to be doing one round for one color per round, so I'll show you how to switch colors as well. So let's begin. I'm going to start with the Shocking Pink. You can use any colors you like. So we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. So to make a slip knot, wrap the yarn around your fingers, bring the yarn behind that loop, insert your hook, bring the loop up, and then tighten. Okay? So to begin, we're going to have to create a ring that we'll be working round 1 and 2. So we're going to chain 4. So to make a chain, wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now in the chain furthest from the hook, that first chain we made, you're going to insert the hook into that chain. We're going to join with a slip stitch. So to do that, insert your hook into that chain, bring up a loop. Now bring that loop through the loop that's already on your hook. Now we have a ring that we will be working our stitches into, and you can kind of open that up a little bit to make it a little easier to get everything in. We also have a tail here. We're going to hold that tail along the edge as we work, and that will weave it in as we go along and save you some steps in the future. Okay, so let's move on to round 1. We're going to stick with the Shocking Pink for round 1, and then after that, when we begin round 2, we'll switch to a different color. Okay, for round 1, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to work 3 double crochet into the center of the ring. To make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert the hook into the center of the ring, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops on your hook. That's 1. We need 3, so that's 1, then this is 2, double crochet, and 3 double crochet. Next, we're going to chain 1, and then we're just going to repeat what we just did. 3 double crochet, chain 1, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 1. Then we're going to repeat the same thing again. So 3 double crochet, chain 1. Once again, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. So we're starting to get the very beginnings of our granny square, okay? Then what we're going to do is work, this time, 2 double crochet into the center of the ring. 1 and 2. And then we're going to join to close with a slip stitch. Now remember at the beginning we did a chain 4, so those first 3 chains of that chain 4 counts as a double crochet, and then the other chain counts as one of these like in between chain ones. So that chain 4 kind of serves 2 purposes. So count 1, 2, 3 chains up, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch to close the round. So insert the hook right into that chain, bring up a loop, now bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. So it's kind of hard to see at this point, but you should have, see these groups of double crochets, you should have like a little plus sign so far. It is the very beginnings of our square. Okay, so I'm going to switch colors. Now, if you want to just stick to the same color, just work a slip stitch until you get over to that first space. So you can just insert the hook, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. Now you're right at the right spot. Let me back up. We're going to switch colors. So I'm going to just cut the yarn, and we're going to fasten off. Also at this point, this tail that we wove in as we went along, that first tail, you can give that a nice tug and trim, and that way it won't be in your way as you move forward with your granny square. Okay, so now we're ready to work round 2. Okay, so for round 2, we're going to switch colors. Just locate one of these chain 1 spaces. So if we look at our little square that we made, it's one of these corners. So just insert your hook in there. Bring the new yarn through, and then you can just tie it right on. It doesn't necessarily need to be where you left off before. You can tie it in another area, just one of those corners. Okay, now we're also going to hold this tail along the edge as we work. Now just insert your hook back into the same space and go ahead and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in the same space, we're going to work 2 double crochet. So 1 and 2, then chain 1, and then also work 3 double crochet in the same space. So 1, 2, and 3. Then what you'll want to do is chain 1 again, and then we're going to hop over here. So skip those next 3 double crochets and hop over to that next chain 1 space that you come to, and then work 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. Let me just get a little bit more yarn, and then a chain 1, and then 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 1, and then we have another tail here. Skip over that next grouping, that grouping of 3 double crochets, and then hold that tail along the edge when you come to it. And then just do the same thing. 3 double crochet, 1, and 2, and 3, chain 1, and then 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we're moving right along. Then we're going to skip over to that next space. So chain 1, and then work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Okay, and then we're just going to, at that chain that we started, that group of chains, just go to the topmost chain there and join with a slip stitch to close the round. Just like that. So round 2 is complete, and it's starting to look very much like a little tiny granny square. So we're going to switch colors for round 3. So go ahead and fasten off. And then what you can do also, it's totally up to you. I like to trim these as I go along. These little tails that we've been weaving in as we go, I like to just trim them as I go. It keeps everything nice and neat, especially if you're making a very large granny square. Our granny square is just going to have 4 rounds, but I like to get these corners nice and sharp. And then we're ready to begin round 3. For round 3 is very similar. We're just going to, again, in this corner space, tie the new yarn on. We're going to do white next. I'm going to kind of do like a gradient effect here. Just tie it right into that corner space. Just like that. And then I'm going to slide this pink yarn over just so you can get a little contrast in the background there. Okay, hold this tail along the edge, and then we're just going to start the round the same way we did before. So reach into that corner space, bring up the loop, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now work 2 double crochets in that corner space. 1 and 2. Chain 1, and then 3 double crochets, still holding that tail along the edge. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so our first corner is complete. Next, we're going to work the side. Now, this is the first side we've encountered. So from now on, you'll have corners and sides to do, and so for round 3, it's going to be corner, side, all the way around. Okay, so chain 1, and then for our side, it's just 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're back at another corner, so chain 1, and in that corner space, we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Okay, so that was 1 double crochet, 2, and 3, chain 1, and then 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that corner is complete as well. So now you can see corner, side, corner. So chain 1, now we're going to do the next side. 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, we're ready to do a corner again. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then in the same space 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 1. Now we're at a side again, so 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Work that corner again. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then in the same space 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we just have a side to work. So chain 1 and then 3 double crochet in that side space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and then we're going to join where we begin. So 1, 2, 3, chains up, insert the hook into that chain, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. So we're going to join with a slip stitch to close the round. Okay, so our granny square looks beautiful, and now we're ready to begin round 4, the final round of our square. Okay, so just cut the yarn and fasten off. Now again, if you want to stick with the same color, don't cut the yarn obviously, but you'll have to slip stitch over to this first corner space, okay? So I'm going to go with the bright pink color for our next round to kind of frame it in. Okay, so with the bright pink yarn, or any color you choose, we're once again going to tie it into any of these 4 corner spaces. So insert your hook into the corner space, bring up a loop, and then just tie it right on. Now if you have a way of joining the new color that you prefer, definitely feel free to do that. I like to just tie it right on and then weave my end in. So again, we're going to hold that end in as we work this first corner. So bring up a loop, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. A couple of you have told me that you would rather chain 3 at the beginning of your granny square. Perfectly fine. I've just always done a chain 4. It's the way I was taught. So if you want to do a chain 3 at the beginning of this round, definitely feel free to do whatever you feel comfortable doing. So once you've made your starting chain, then we're going to make 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, then chain 1, pushing it over a little bit if you need to, and then 3 more double crochet in that same space. So 1, 2, and 3. Our first corner of round 4 is complete. Okay? So now we're going to have 2 sides. See, there's 2 spaces now. So every round you make with granny squares, you'll be increasing the side. So if we were to make a round 5, which we're not going to do, but if we were to make a round 5, you would have 3 sides to work. Okay? So chain 1, and in that first space, work your first side, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, then work 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so once again we're at a corner. So chain 1, and then our corner, same thing as before, will be 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest of this round pretty quickly. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, just because we've already done this before. We're just kind of going through once again. Okay, we're at another side, so work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and then we're at another corner. So work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and 3 more in that same space. 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. Next side, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. We're at another tail here, so once we get to that tail, we'll hold that along the edge as well. I wove the end in on that other bright pink one also. Okay, so work that side, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. And I love how this bright pink just kind of frames the whole thing, and it looks very pretty and cheerful. Okay, hold that tail in along the edge. If you have a tail there, yours might be in a different location. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to chain 1, just do the same thing, 3 double crochet in the same space, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we're at the last little bit of our granny square. Just chain 1, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and then count 3 chains up, join with a slip stitch to close the round, and our granny square is complete. Now I wanted to mention at this point you can work more rounds and make the purse a little bit bigger. If you're making it for a grown-up, this is really like a child's purse. So if you want to make this a larger purse or a different kind of bag, you know, you can just keep working more rounds of the granny square. It's done the same exact way as we just did in round 4, but you're going to just have more sides. Now see how we have 1, 2, 3 sides to work, and the corners will be the same. Okay, so what we're going to do now is assemble part of our purse. We're going to assemble the purse part, and then we'll make the strap last. Okay, so go ahead and fasten off. And if you need to trim anything, definitely go ahead and do that now. I'm going to grab my tapestry needle, and I just want to weave in this last end that I worked. Now our granny square, our purse actually, is 2 granny squares sandwiched together, and then we're going to seam them and add a little decorative edge. Now I went ahead and made another granny square. Now if you notice, it's the exact reverse of the first granny square, or actually the granny square that we just made. So that way when the child, or if you're making a little bit of a larger one, the person is wearing the purse, you could kind of flip it over and have a little bit of a different look. Okay, so we have our granny squares, and let's just get them straightened out so they line up nicely. So you can see one side here, one side here. We're going to sandwich them together. So what you want to do is, once they're sandwiched together, we're going to single crochet seam the side, bottom, and the other side, leaving the top open for, you know, placing things inside. And then the strap will come around and attach here, and here. Okay, so I am going to make my edge in the light pink, because I'm going to also make the strap in the light pink. Obviously you can do any color combination you like. Okay, so I went ahead and grabbed the light pink yarn, and we're going to make a granny square sandwich. So you want your right side, this was the side that faced you while you worked the granny square. You want the right sides to be facing outward on both sides. So you don't, this is the inside, you want that to come to the inside, because this is going to be the body of the purse. So you want the right sides facing outward. So make your granny square sandwich. Now in the top left corner space, right here, you can see that right here on this square, and right here on this square, insert your hook, bring the new yarn through, and just tie it on. Okay, so we tied the new yarn on. Now reach back in those corner spaces and bring up a loop and chain 1. Now work 2 single crochets in that same corner space. So 1 and 2. So from here on out, we're going to go down, over along this bottom, and back up, leaving this top part open. Okay? So what we want to do is work a single crochet in each stitch and a single crochet in each space as we go around, working 3 single crochets in the corners that we come to. Now we only worked 2 single crochets in this first corner because we also did a chain 1, so that chain 1 counted as one of our single crochets. Okay, so just make sure you go through both layers. So this is the first stitch of this one, the first stitch of this one. Work a single crochet in there. If you've never done a single crochet, insert the hook into both layers, wrap yarn around hook, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through both loops. Okay, so I'm just going to work a single crochet in each stitch, just like that, and now we're at the first space. So insert the hook into that space, work a single crochet into that space. Okay, we're just going to do this all the way around. Okay, now we had 3 groups of double crochet that made each one of these sort of clusters. So you'll see that there's a rhythm. Work a single crochet in those first 3 stitches, then you'll come to a space, then you'll have 3 more stitches to do. So we're just working single crochets all the way around. And by going into both layers like this, we're creating a seam. We're seaming them together. A lot of people don't like to sew, so I kept the sewing to a minimum. I guess that's why we crochet. Some people do both, which is admirable, because sewing is definitely not one of my strong suits. Okay, so let's go into that stitch there. Now we're at a corner. So in that corner space, like I mentioned before, make sure you're in both layers. Work 3 single crochets in that corner. If we only did 1, it would kind of draw it in and make it unnecessarily tight in that corner. This kind of will help it round the corner. Okay, so our seaming looks very pretty. It's very nice and straight. It kind of straightens out the purse a little bit. Okay, so just do the same thing. In both layers, work a single crochet in each stitch and a single crochet in each space. And we're at the next space, so work a single crochet in that space. And really, adding a single crochet edge really helps to, in any project really, helps to neaten things up quite a bit. Gives a nice, straight, clean edge on a project. Okay, we're at that next space, so work that. Next, we're at a stitch. This is a really good way to practice too, working into the stitches versus working into the spaces of a project. This incorporates both. Okay, so we're at another stitch. Just make sure it goes in both layers. One, 2, and 3. Those were that group of 3 stitches. And then the next corner here, see we're at our corner space again. Work 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Get some more yarn here. Okay, so now we're in the home stretch. We're on that last side. We're coming up to the right top corner. So again, make sure you're incorporating all the layers of your granny square to make sure your seams are nice and straight. And anytime you're doing seaming and finish work like this, you want to make sure things are nice and neat, because you have these beautiful granny squares and you want to, this is really a project that shows off your granny squares and your color choices. So you just want to make sure that everything is nice and neat. Okay, again, we're in the home stretch. We're coming up to this top edge here. Just have one more side space there, and then we're in the last little group of stitches. If you kind of, anytime you watch these videos, if you have the hang of it and you're ready to, you can just kind of fast forward a little bit. Okay, so here's our last corner. See how we've done the sides and the bottom? Just work your 3 single crochet in that corner as well. 2 and 3. Okay? So our purse is complete. Now I'm going to cut the yarn and fasten off, because we're going to do a pretty little scallop, but I want to do it in a different color. Okay? So you can see the purse is now a pocket. You can see on both sides. It looks really fabulous. Okay? I'm going to go back to the dark pink for the little scallop. That'll add a little bit of dimension to it. Okay? So let's switch gears, and we're going to do a little scallop along the edge first, and then we'll be ready to do the handle. Okay, so let's get the bright pink yarn again, and see once again the top left corner is where we're going to fasten the yarn. So locate that very first stitch, that first single crochet you worked. It might be a little snug, but that's okay. So just tie that new yarn right on there. Just like that, okay? Next, we're going to insert the hook back where we tied that and chain 1, okay? All right, let's work a single crochet into that first stitch, just like that. Now skip the next stitch, and in the stitch after that, we're going to make a little scallop. So work a single crochet, chain 2, then a single crochet right in that same stitch. You can see it created just a little bump, little scallop, okay? So in the next stitch, work a single crochet, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, work a single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. See that? It's just a tiny little scallop, very delicate. Okay, next stitch, single crochet. This is going to be our sequence. Single crochet, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Next stitch, single crochet, skip the next stitch. Stitch after that, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. It's just a very simple, easy little scallop. Okay? Next stitch, single crochet, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, all in that same stitch. Single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch. Stitch after that, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch. Just straighten that one out a little bit. It was getting a little wild there. Okay, so single crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next stitch. Stitch after that, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next stitch, and then work your little scallop. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, work your scallop. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. All right, single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, work your scallop. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, work your scallop. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch. We're in the home stretch coming up this side. So single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, work the scallop. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next one, work the scallop. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, work your scallop. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, and see we're at the very last stitch. Just work your scallop. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And then work to finish off and kind of round off that scallop, work a slip stitch in that same space. And let me back up a minute. insert your hook, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook, and that'll kind of round off that scallop nicely. Okay, cut the yarn, fasten off. Okay, now let's get everything all nice and straight. Get these scallops nice and sharp. They're a little pointy, kind of like pointy little scallops. Okay, so it looks very cute. And see these two tails here? Let's leave these intact. We can use these to sew the strap on later. We'll just need a little bit of yarn, just like this, just to sew the strap on really quick. Okay, so the body of the purse is complete. Next, we're going to make the strap. Now, this can be like a little handbag, like this, just do a little strap, or it can be like a long shoulder strap. So we're gonna try and do the long shoulder strap, but definitely feel free to customize this however you like, okay? Okay, I am gonna switch to the light pink for the main part of the strap, and then we're also gonna put this same little scallop, you could call it a picot even, really, onto our strap as well. So I'm gonna make the strap, the main part of the strap in light pink, and then add the little picot scallop edge in the bright pink, okay? Again, any combination you like. Now I went ahead and figured out how long I want my strap to be. Now you can measure, I took a piece of scrap yarn and just made it like my handle like that. Now you can put it actually against the child and measure the strap that way. So I'm just going to, you'll want to make a chain as long as you want your strap to be. So if you want your strap to be very long, obviously you'll want to make a long chain. If you want it just to be a little handbag, you can make a shorter chain. Just make sure that it's an odd number because of our scallop is a multiple of 3, okay? So what we're gonna do is make our chain. So wrap yarn around your fingers, bring the yarn behind your loop, reach in with your hook, bring up a loop and tighten. Then we're gonna make a chain as long as we like. Now this is gonna be my strap length. I went ahead and measured with a piece of scrap yarn. So go ahead and make your chain as long as you like, and we'll rejoin in just a moment. Okay, so I finished my chain. I made 115 chains, if you're wondering. Okay, so in the second chain from the hook, this loop here does not count. 1, 2, we're gonna work single crochets in each one of these chains. So insert the hook into the chain, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, and bring it through both loops. So I'm just gonna work single crochets in each chain all the way across. Now, if you want your strap to be thin, you could just leave this as is, and this could be the strap. Or if you want it to be thicker, which I would like this one to be thicker, just so it doesn't dig if there's a lot of little treasures the child is carrying around, you know, so it won't dig into the shoulder. We're going to make the strap a little bit wider. And like I mentioned before, add a little decorative edge like we did here. Okay, so just go ahead and work single crochets in each chain all the way across, and then once we get towards the end of this row, we will rejoin and I'll show you how to work the next row. Okay, okay, we're just coming up to the end of row 1 of our purse strap. Now, if you want to leave it as is, this makes a perfectly fine purse strap. Just like that, okay? I want to make mine a little thicker and add the decorative edge. So what we're going to do is do one more round of this light pink, and then we'll switch to the dark pink and make the edge. Okay, so all you need to do is just chain 1 and turn. And this is the same exact thing we've done before, except we're just working into the stitches and not the chains, okay? So work a single crochet in that very first stitch, and a single crochet in each stitch all the way across. I want to work a few single crochets just to show you what kind of width we're getting on our strap. See, it makes it a little bit wider, okay? So just keep working single crochets all the way across. Now I wanted to mention, I meant to mention this before, but if you're really not into the idea of making a long chain and working into a long chain, definitely check out my tutorial on the foundation single crochet stitch. That will eliminate making a long chain and then working back into the chain. and I will link that up so you can check out that tutorial as well. But definitely feel free as an alternative to do the foundation single crochet stitch as well. Okay, I'm just working the last couple of stitches of row 2 of our strap. And then what we're going to do is switch colors. So I'm going to switch to the dark pink to make our edge. And then, now if you want to stick to the same color, totally fine. This purse is very customizable color-wise. But I thought that the dark pink would kind of tie it in together with the body of the purse. Okay, so let's grab our dark pink, and we're just going to tie that right on. And as you can see, row 2 gave it a little bit more width as well. Okay, so let's grab our pink, tie that color right on there. And we're going to be working our edge the same way we did when we did the purse, okay? So what we're going to do is reach in with our hook, bring up a loop, chain 1, and then turn our work. All right, so what we're going to do is work a single crochet into that first stitch, then skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, we'll work a scallop or picot, whatever you want to call it. So single crochet, chain 2, and a single crochet. Just like that, okay? Single crochet into the next stitch, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. I'm going to make a few of these before we go off on our own, because I want to show you what these little, this edge looks like after we've established a couple of them. Okay, so single crochet in the next stitch, skip the stitch after that, then work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. I love crochet edges. They're one of my favorite things about crochet. They just really finish things off so beautifully. Okay, single crochet in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, and then work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. You're just going to do this all the way across, but I just wanted to show you what we have so far. Looks very pretty. So when we attach it to our purse, it's going to look very pretty and elegant. Okay, so just continue across working your edge. And then once we get towards the end of the strap, we'll rejoin and I'll show you how to attach it. We're going to sew it on. Okay, we're just coming up to the end here. So I just worked, just to show you where I'm at here, I just worked a single crochet. So I'm skipping the next stitch, and in that last stitch I'm going to do a scallop. Okay, so single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And then, like we did before with the purse body, let's work a slip stitch in that last, in the same space, but in the very last area here to kind of round off that last picot slash scallop. So our strap is complete. Now I wanted to point out, if you don't end on one of these scallops, it's okay when you sew, you can kind of position it depending on your chains. Sometimes you might end up on a scallop, you may not, but it's okay. I'll show you how to position everything and make it look even. Okay, so what we're going to do is cut the yarn and fasten off, and we're ready to sew our strap on. So everything looks very pretty. The strap looks awesome. Okay, so we have lots and lots of ends to deal with. So let's get our yarn balls out of the way here, just so we don't have more yarn that we're dealing with. Okay, so grab your tapestry needle, and you don't need to cut a separate piece of yarn to sew the strap on because we have lots of ends. You can use these ends, you can use the ends we left over here. So just lay your the purse strap out so that it's not twisted. I like to lay it flat on the table here. Just make sure everything is nice and flat, just like that, okay? So then what you can do is take any of these ends and thread your tapestry needle. You can just, we'll weave the rest in later. But we're just going to thread our tapestry needle and then go inside here and just figure out where you'd like it to go. So do you want it to go right there so that it lines up with the edging, or do you want it to go sort of inside the purse like that? You could do that, or you could sew it to the back, but then it wouldn't be reversible. So to keep the reversible part of our purse, let's go ahead and what I'm going to do is sandwich this together, similar to what we did with the granny squares, just so those pink edges are lined up. Now if you did your edging in a different color, it'll still look equally pretty. Just make sure when you do your seaming that it's nice and neat. So I threaded my tapestry needle and I'm just going to come in through both layers. We're whip stitching this together. Come in through both layers and just make sure it's nice and snug because it is a strap and it will have things in the purse, and it will be toted around. So you want to make sure the strap doesn't come off or break or, you know, damage the purse. All right, so make sure you're going in both layers. Just make it nice and neat. Okay, so I'm at the end here, and I'm going to take my tail plus this other tail here and just tie them together. I'm going to put 3 knots in mine. You don't want to over knot because it'll cause a big bulge, but you also don't want to under knot it either, and it'll come apart. So our strap is sewn on, and then we'll weave those ends in as well. I'm going to go ahead and sew this strap on. We'll weave the ends, and then our purse will be complete. Okay, so I went and wove in the remaining ends except for one because I wanted to point out something. When you're weaving your ends in, just make sure with these projects that have lots of different colors. So I have here one of the hot pink ends. Just make sure you weave it into a hot pink section, because if you stray into some of these other areas, it'll really stick out that piece of bright pink yarn, for example, in the white area or the light pink area. So I'm just weaving that very last end in, and what I like to do, now mine popped out, but what I like to do is come back in the other direction just to kind of help lock that tail into place, because you've had lots of tails for this project. Now we did weave some of them in as we went along, and that's wonderful, but some of the other ones we had to use a tapestry needle. Okay, so our purse looks amazing. It's very cute and a fun little purse. And so that's it. That is how you crochet the little pink purse. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.